The baseball season's in the final stretch. We got about a month and a half of the season left before playoffs start. And finally, a movie from 1994 dropped on Disney Plus this last week, and it's Angels in the Outfield, so I gotta talk about it. Welcome to Almost Sideways, everyone. My name is Adam, and we are talking about 1994's Angels in the Outfield, starring the young Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Danny Glover, Tony Danza, Matthew McConaughey. Adrian Brody pops up in here. We got Christopher Lloyd, Brenda Fricker's in here, and a lot of other actors do pop up here that have really recognizable faces. And it is directed by William Deere. This is a movie that way back when Disney Plus was first announced, I really wanted to watch this movie with my kids. I am a huge Rookie of the Year fan. We did do a deep dive on the podcast and on the YouTube channel. You can find that review out there. I'll probably link in the show notes somewhere down here. You'll find that review. There was 3 baseball movies that really, I got a lot of screen time on. Rookie of the Year, Field of Dreams, and of course, Angels in the Outfield. Being a person who lived in California and close to Angel Stadium, mind you, this was a huge film for me. I absolutely loved this movie a lot. It was something that I did pop in the VHS quite a bit. Funny story, my mom actually worked right across the street from where all the Angels players used to go out after the game, so she actually was able to meet them at some point in time too. No autographs though, unfortunately. However, I attended quite a bit of Angels games when they played in Edison Field. Now they are called not the Anaheim Angels, they are the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Angels in the Outfield does follow young Roger, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He is a young boy in the foster care system in California. His best friend is JP, played by Milton Davis Jr., and he lives in the home with Maggie, who is played by Brenda Fricker. He's a diehard Angels fan, and his father, unfortunately, has given him up to the foster care system. His father is played by podcast favorite Dermot Mulroney as well. Of course, his dad promises that we'll be a family together again once the Angels win the pennant. And mind you, the Angels are absolutely a horribly run franchise. Their manager is George Knox, played by Danny Glover. We hear the announcer, played by J.O. Sanders, played by Ranch Wilder. He completely bashes the team over the broadcast, and it's clear to say that this team is a no-good, washed-up team, and every player is kind of quirky and just not a really good baseball player, and it's going to take a miracle for them to even win or sniff the pennant race here. Again, the players are really funny, and we do get to see a lot of the different quirks, one of them being played by Whit Bass, played by Neil McDonough. I love Neil McDonough. I like a lot of the things he has been in, and his character Bass here is just completely airhead and just goofy character. Again, we get Adrian Brody, plays Danny Himmerling. He is a utility infielder who doesn't have a bat, but he's known for gloves, so he's used for defensive positioning at the end of the games, which he never gets used really. McConaughey is played by Ben Williams. Is played by McConaughey. Very young role. Who would have thought 2 Oscar winners would be in this movie? It was really cool to see a lot of some really familiar faces, especially when you hadn't think this movie would have pretty prominent actors nowadays. Actors we have seen, and of course, Roger, played by a young Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Again, so the movie, he needs them to go to the pennant race, so he says a prayer. He said, if there's a God, please help the Angels win a pennant. And of course, the next day, he starts seeing Angels in the outfield and in the infield, mind you. And the head angel is played by Christopher Lloyd. His name is Al, the head angel here. And kind of basically says that we're here to help you and get through, but you can't let anybody know. So essentially, we're seeing a lot of crazy plays, and the team starts getting hot, and they eventually go to the playoffs against the final game against the White Sox. If they win, they're in. If they lose, they're out, type of thing. But we see a lot of good little character moments. We see the growth of George Knox here as he kind of takes these kids and kind of learns, hey, if there's a sign here, give me some kind of signals so that way I can, know if something's coming or who I should play or whatever, mind you, so that they can start winning. Of course, there's like the evil goings on with the Ranch Wilder, because there's some kind of like back and forth hatred between the manager and this broadcaster way back from their playing days. But overall, it's a very lighthearted but also kind of deep movie, because we're dealing, unlike like Rookie of the Year, we have kid pitching in the big league, we have a kid here who's in the foster care system. So basically his parents don't want him. So you're learning like these kids are by themselves, and this is like a them praying for this team, and they're seeing these miracles happen. It's fascinating to see. A lot of great character moments too, and you see like the real growth of this George Knox character, where he is just like this disgruntled coach. He can't win with these guys. There's a thing called talent. They don't got it. That's what he says. Great line. I remembered a lot of this movie. It's just a really fun watch. It's a perfect deep dive movie, because it's one of those things that you have to have a lot of quirky characters, and this movie's definitely got it in spades. Even the other teams are ridiculous. You do get to see a couple games played. You get to see them play against the Blue Jays a couple times, the White Sox as well. No menacing characters, no professional players that we see from like Rookie of the Year had a professional players, a couple of them pop up, but probably we see a little big league had a lot of professional players play it here. This one doesn't really care about the baseball antics, because of there's Angels helping them out. There's clearly like Angels like kicking the ball around, and the ball is swirling around, and the players can't get the ball, and there's inside the park home runs, and the ball never even left the infield. Some really crazy kind of stuff that does happen here. And it's all in good nature fun, and it's seeing the heartwarming nature of it at the very end is really cool to see. And we also get to see Tony Danza play Mel Clark, the big like veteran pitcher who's been hurt, and they do a baseball move here that it's baffling. I guess they had up to game time to change this. He was on the IL, and then also they activated him, and they're going to start him like right away. I've never seen that happen before ever in baseball. I'm pretty sure you have to go through so many like bells and whistles just to get him activated and send a guy down. Who got sent down like minutes before game time? That's what I really want to know. There's so many deeper questions that like baseball moves that actually happen. This could have been like a great baseball movie to deep dive, and we might have to do this next year as well. Who knows? With Terry. This is just a really kind of fun, goofy movie that definitely does take the baseball too seriously, but does have some really heartwarming messages and moments in here. What a heartbreaking moment when Maggie and Roger has to go to the child custody service court and see his dad basically sign his rights away, and basically he's an orphan, and so he's like, I don't believe in anything anymore. And just seeing like him just completely broken down and have lost faith in like his parents and like what love is and stuff like that. And you're seeing like George Knox like, I had to be somewhere, but blew off his own plans just to be with these kids. I didn't have to. And at the very ending scene when they actually get adopted at the very end was just it's a great moment, and it's maybe I'm just getting old and sappy. It almost drew a tear to my eye. Obviously, the nostalgia for this movie definitely outweighs a lot. I had this at 2 stars. I'm kind of up to 3 stars, and that's maybe just me just being kind of sentimental and just kind of sappy and nostalgic about the movie. But it's super like just interesting and just to think about, and just the baseball optics of everything, just the fun characters and the funny moments, and just the funny lines too. It's like, oh, it looks like a prison photo. This is a great movie. This definitely is a movie that I feel like should be deep dove at one point in time. Maybe I can talk to the guys in doing it in a couple years as well. Funny enough, they did make a sequel to this movie. I'm not sure if that one's on Disney Plus or not, but it's called Angels in the End Zone. The only returning character on that one it's a TV movie, obviously from 1997, and that is where Al does return, and he is brought back by Matthew Lawrence, who he wishes for them to have a good football season, and he helps their football team win here as well. There's also another film from 2000, another TV movie called Angels in the Infield with Patrick Warburton and David Alan Grier here, another straight Disney DVD film. I never saw this one. Does not have the greatest reviews on IMDb with only 592 votes. We have a 4.9 out of 10. Might be an interesting come to the stable moment there. But the other like notable Angels in the Outfield movie is from 1951. It's called Angels in the Outfield. It's about the Pittsburgh Pirates, mind you, and having some kind of spiritual helping on their baseball field too. I have seen that one. That's a pretty good one, but not nearly as good as this 1994 classic childhood memory of mine, Angels in the Outfield. And whenever you got this iconic motion of the angel, there's an angel right now. It just got here. But anyway, that is my quick review. I'm not going to stop doing the angel wings until I finally wrap up this review. But that's my quick thoughts, takes, and opinions on Angels in the Outfield. What do you guys think about this movie? Do you guys like it as much as I have? Or I'm just gushing about this movie for no apparent reason. But it's really fun. Anyway, keep going. Until next time, guys. My name is Adam. Go watch Angels in the Outfield. Streaming on Disney+. See you guys later.